Welcome back, everyone. We are working on our school on the West End stairs in Revit. And in the last session, we created the final version of stairs. I put in a type of railing that was just available to me, not what the textbook had asked for. And then the last thing I did was create a section view, and I'm going to go look at that section view now. So if I click on this section view and zoom out a little bit, I have clipped down with the crop window so that I'm really only looking at what I need. And while I was off screen, I went back into the textbook and corrected this railing so that had created and am now using wood spindles. All right, so we have two tasks in this session. One is to place a first stair in here. It's going to be called a landing. And then we are going to create some railings up along this upper area here so that nobody just like rolls their wheelchairs right off the floor. All right, so the textbook tells us to go to level 1. I am, just to do something different, and I'm going to go back to my level 3 plan view and zoom in. And I want to put something on the first floor. All right, so to do that, I am going to change my view range, all right, in level 3, and I'll edit this over here on the left. And I'm going to change my bottom down to level 1 CD, as well as the view depth down to level 1 CD. Just as a reminder from some time ago, I always have bottom and view depth level at the same point. So I'm going to click OK here, and in a minute the floor is actually going to show up. And if you might see on your screen, there's a little bit of surface pattern there showing the floor. All right, so let's go ahead and put this landing in. So I'm going to use place a component, and I'm going to choose the landing, right, that I believe we've inserted earlier in the file. And notice it's going to come up rotated by 90 degrees. I'm going to press the space bar to rotate it by 90 degrees. And over here in the properties, normally when I place this thing, I'm going to place it on the active level, which is level 3. But I just want to highlight that I can actually change that. I can be looking at and working on level 3 and place an object on level 1, which ultimately is what I want to do here. So I'm going to come down and get this in the middle of the stairs, click my space bar so that it's oriented correctly, click it into place, and hit escape as I'm done, hit escape again, and I have that landing in place. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to place another component, and we are going to choose this gooseneck railing at the bottom here. So let's see, where's that going to come from? Post up with gooseneck. All right, so I'm going to choose this as my option. And I also want to place this on level 1. I'll make sure that this is where it is, and it's not, so I'm going to revise that back down to level 1. I'm going to change the offset to 6 5/8 inches. I'm doing that so that I'm placing this gooseneck on this first landing stair, not on the ground. So I'm going to press the space bar, get this thing rotated around, and instead of placing this down here on the bottom, I'm going to move it up and place it in the upper area so that it kind of is rotated correctly. Just click it into place somewhere. And now notice here's my railing, and here's the gooseneck. So I'm going to use the move command as the textbook recommends. It's kind of hard to do, but I'm pretty sure that's the center. Maybe not. Guess I'm just going to move this up and out of the way a little bit. And now repeat that move. And I'm going to move this thing from the midpoint end of the gooseneck to the midpoint end of the railing. And it goes into place. All right, so in my mind, I have a question. Did I really get what I wanted? So I'm going to activate this section view one more time, kind of verify that I do have what I want. And if I look in on my gooseneck, it ends perfectly in a line with the railing. So that is what I'm looking for. Back to model level 3 as a view, and I'm going to simply mirror this gooseneck from the middle of my stairs to the other side, and the second gooseneck is also in place and correct. All right. So at this point, I have the landing, the gooseneck, and now I need to put some railings on this upper floor. And one of the things that I always do as a workflow is once I've messed around with my view range, if I don't need it permanently, then as soon as I'm done with my, I'm going to call it unique custom view range, I come back and I put it back to where it normally would be. So I'm going to readjust this back up to level 3 and level 3 and click OK. And by the way, this gooseneck and landing scenario stuff that I added is going to disappear. They disappear because as complete objects, they exist only down on level 1. So that's not a surprise for me. All right, so I'm now going to use the railing command, pretty straightforward. Architecture, railing, and I'm going to choose this wood spindle, wood railing with spindles, and here I'm going to choose a 4-inch offset. That's what the textbook asks us to do, and I'm going to be drawing a line. And notice that the railing is going to be out in the middle of the air, so I'll hit my space bar to reverse that. And I'm going to extend it over until I see the wall. I'm going to click OK. And I'm going to repeat that over here on the right half. So architecture, railing. Notice the wood railing with spindles sticks as my last option. Redo my 4-inch offset and choose a line and come over to all the way to the wall. And I'm going to click the green check mark. Notice I didn't try and align my start points at all. And let's look at why not now. Because I want this railing to tee directly into this railing. So to do that, I need to adjust this railing so that it continues past the stair by 4 inches. So let's do that. So I'm going to click on this particular railing and say I want to edit the path. And when I do that, I'm going to select this path and increase its length by 4 inches. So if I go from 9 feet to 9 feet 4 inches, that's 4 inches. I'll click the green check mark. I'm going to need to repeat that over here on the left. Click on the railing, edit the path, choose the sketch line, and change the length of the line from 9 feet to 9 feet 4 inches. Click the green check mark. And of course, now that I've done it, I'm actually a little bit nervous. I'm going to create a little section view to verify that I either got what I wanted or verify that I did that incorrectly. So I'm going to create a little section view. And look at this view. All right, what I was hoping to see was that the extension of my railing would be horizontal, and it is, which is what I was looking for. Another way to have achieved what I did instead of extending that existing line was I could have drawn a second line and not extend the first one. That would have worked as well. All right, close that section 4, and now it's really straightforward for me to simply choose this railing edit the path, choose this line and drag this line over, and I actually have a midpoint snap that I'm looking for. And I'm going to repeat that over here on the right. It's choose the railing, edit the path, click the line that is sketching the path and drag it over, and I can get a midpoint snap. So that midpoint snap really helps me know exactly where to end that line. Okay, so those railings are complete, and so that is going to wrap up the work that we need to do on the stairs. To finish this chapter, you're going to be adding a wall, a couple doors, and then a wainscot railing directly on the wall. I'll let you guys do that in the textbook. The instructions there are pretty clear. So hopefully these web stairs have been helpful. And again, as always, thanks for your patience and hope this is working well.